let's get into book 2. This is The Scarred Sky. It's a high adventure story, similar to Tomorrow When the War Began, or The Maze Runner. It's written in the first person, so it follows the main character, who is a 14-year-old boy named Chase Harmon. Now, I'm open at this stage as to whether the main character is a boy or a girl. I've written him as a boy at this stage, but I'm open to that, so you can make comments on that. We start at chapter 3, so there will have been a couple of chapters before that which will have set up our characters, and we find them in the middle of a school camp. They've been taken out for a tramp in the forest with a teacher that they despise, and things are just about to get serious. So here we go, chapter 3. The first strike hits the ground about a kilometre from the valley where we stand. I close my eyes and can see the brilliant jagged blue and white flash behind my eyelids. Several seconds pass, then a second impossibly loud crack of thunder arrives, so sudden and violent that I feel it deep in my chest. Dylan's eyes are wide. That was close. A mist of water from light steamy rain dots her face. She tugs on the sleeve of my rain jacket and nods towards Mr. Maddox. He is doing his best to ignore the storm and shows no sign of turning back to base camp. The kids around him are either visibly nervous or pretending not to be worried. He catches me watching him. "Did the nasty lightning scare you, Harmon?" I say nothing, there's no point. Standing up to him will just make him worse. As usual, Dylan shows no such restraint. You'd have to be an idiot not to be scared of lightning. Maddox opens his mouth to reply when a second, third and fourth bolt hit in quick succession, each strike closer to us than the last. It's as if they're marching towards our location. The air crackles and the ground shakes with the impact. Sparks fly from multiple strike points. There's a flash of orange as fire breaks out in the underbrush. The thunder's so loud that I have to shout to Dylan, even though she's right next to me. "How far to the caves?" She wrinkles up her face, obviously struggling to hear. "What?" I mime a cave-like shape and yell to her, "The caves! How far?" She nods and points to a rocky outcrop just visible through the trees. It's impossible to calculate how far away it is. It could be a couple of 100 metres, it could be a couple of kilometres. A large bolt slams into a tree on the other side of us. Its trunk cracks and one half of the tree crashes to the ground. The other half remains splintered and broken like a freshly split log. It's so close it makes me jump. I glance at Maddox, hoping for some sort of leadership. He stares at the shattered, smoking tree, not moving. I can't tell if he's confused, terrified, or angry. The kids around him huddle together, clearly scared witless. I look around for Ryan. He's behind me. His mouth is pulled tight, his expression grim. "We've got to get out of here," he grunts. Dylan is already moving. I break into a run and yell to the rest of the class, "Follow us!" I don't look back to see if anyone's moved. I just concentrate on Dylan. She's about 10 metres in front of me, running a ragged line over the uneven terrain. Wet fern fronds slap against her bare legs beneath her shorts as she ignores the track and cuts through the bush, taking the most direct route to the caves. I hear the snapping crack of more lightning strikes nearby. I don't know where it's hitting, but it's all around us. My eyes are fixed on Dylan. I try to step where she does, but she's faster and fitter than me and I'm losing sight of her. Thunder rumbles like an oncoming train. The sound sends a shiver down my spine. Even though I know it's only noise, I'm convinced that at any moment it'll catch me and drive me into the dirt. Tree branches snatch at my face and a misty wind, and the misty rain mixes with flashes of lightning to create a disorientating strobe-like effect. The bolts are almost continuous now, like the sky is raining fire. A thin white fork sears the ground to my left, blasting a small crater from the earth and throwing a curtain of dirt into my side. I lunge to the right, veering away from the point of impact. It's not logical. The strikes are terrifyingly random, but I do it anyway. Directly in front of me, another bolt smashes into a tall pine tree. It hits an outlying branch, roughly the size of my calf, and shears it from the trunk. I watch in horror as the splintered limb hurtles towards me. I throw myself to the ground and roll sideways. The branch crashes to the ground right where I'd been, sap and pine needles spitting through the air. I'm up immediately and stumble into a log, but I'm not watching where I'm going and my foot hits a tree root. My ankle snaps violently to the right. There's a flash of pain. I stumble but don't fall. The next moment, Ryan's beside me. He grabs my arm, steadying me. "You all right, Case?" he says, concern in his voice. I put weight on my ankle to test it. It hurts, but I think it's just a twist. Yeah, keep moving. Go, go, go. I wheeze, breathing hard. He lets go of my arm, but runs by my side. I can't see Dylan. Just bush and flashes of light. I'm not even sure if I'm following a trail anymore, but I figure she can't be far ahead. I lunge through a line of spindly trees and suddenly I'm in a clearing. About 100 metres ahead of me is a scrub-covered outcrop of rock. A low, wide cave splits the stone face like a gaping mouth. Loose rocks and rubble lie scattered in the entrance like smashed teeth. Dylan's red jacket stands out amongst the grey. She raises her arms above her head and beckons for us to join her. Unnecessary, really, I think. The hissing shafts of death falling from the sky are more than enough to spur me on. Ryan and I sprint towards the cave opening. Lightning peppers the ground around us. I run hard and blind, no plan, just hoping I'm not hit. I can feel Ryan beside me, matching me stride for stride. We're both slow as we reach the unstable shale. We pick our way towards the safety of the cave as quickly as we can, acutely aware of the storm behind us. Dylan stands on a flat rock just inside the entrance to the cave. As I approach, she leans forward and holds out her hand. I take it and let her pull me onto the ledge. Once I'm up, Dylan lets go and reaches for Ryan. He ignores her extended hand and clambers to the top by himself. A trace of annoyance flicks across Dylan's face, but is gone by the time Ryan flops down beside us. She'll be safe here, says Dylan. I look into the cave and can see only blackness, my eyes not yet adjusted to the gloom. How deep is it? Dylan shrugs. Dunno, but there'll be enough room for all of us. Her face darkens, if they make it. Here they come now, bellows Ryan. Maddox and the remaining students are clear of the tree line, running for the cave, shafts of lightning falling all around them. The teacher is in front, with most of the kids directly behind him and a few more unfit kids straggling. It seems like some of the students are missing. I stand as tall as I can, wave my arms in the air and urge them on. Beside me, Dylan and Ryan do the same, our voices magnified by the cavern, making us sound like giants. Maddox and the bulk of the kids are almost to the shale when a massive shaft of lightning pierces the sky directly above them. Rather than searing into the ground, the bolt splits into 5 smaller forks. Two shafts disappear into the tree line behind the group, but 3 bolts land amongst the scrambling students. They don't see it coming. 2 bolts slam into the middle of the running kids. I don't see exactly who is hit, but it's like a bomb going off. 3 bodies fly through the air. One, I think it's Will Harris, smashes into the side of a boulder and falls behind it. Only a red smear on the rock and his unmoving feet visible to me. 2 more kids lie on the ground exactly where the bolts hit. I can't tell who they are. 2 girls, maybe? One is convulsing. The second lies still, a wisp of smoke rising ominously from her body. The final smaller bolt passes straight through Mr. Maddox. He jerks like a freshly landed fish, then falls, firstly to his knees, then flat onto the ground. He is motionless for a few seconds, then starts to crawl on his stomach, moving slowly, painfully, towards the cave. Several kids run past him, desperate to reach safety. I notice that 2 of his favourites, Tom Bainbridge and Dan Stiles, are part of the group that have dashed past the stricken teacher, not giving him so much as a backward glance. Ironically, the only student to stop and help Maddox is Summer Moore, one of the kids he regularly picks on. She struggles to lift the stupefied man. She calls for assistance, but her words are lost in the rolling boom of thunder. I know that I should help her, but I don't want to. I don't want to go back out there. I don't want to be brave. I don't want to die. So I don't move. Dylan and Ryan do. They leap down from the rock and rush past the incoming kids straight towards Summer. God damn it, I think. Now I have to go. I jump down and follow my friends. Kids push past me, scrambling to get to shelter, most of their faces etched with fear or streaming with tears. I'm sure my face looks exactly the same. As I fumble past the shale, another bombardment of lightning cascades into the valley. The majority of the bolts fall in the forest beyond the tree line, but several hit the clearing, most thankfully missing the remaining kids. One stroke shatters a rock off to my left, sending shrapnel-like splinters into the air. I feel a sharp pain and look down to see my leg is bleeding. I don't have time to examine the wound. The longer I'm out, the more danger I'm in. Head down, I sprint over to Ryan. He and Summer have lifted Maddox off the ground, while Dylan checks on the other kids that have been hit. Ryan and Summer have their arms under Maddox's shoulders, dragging the barely conscious man towards the rocks. I tap Summer on the arm. "I'll take him," I say with more confidence than I feel. Summer gives me a grateful look and lets me take her place before running for the cave. "You took your time," says Ryan. I can't tell if he's annoyed or joking. "I'm here, aren't I?" I mutter. "I can't believe I'm risking my life for this guy." He laughs. "Yeah, how dumb are you?" A snap of thunder cracks with so much volume that I feel a concussion wave. We pick up the pace and haul Maddox over the rocks into the overhang at the entrance of the cavern. Dylan is right behind us. I can tell from the look on her face that the other kids are dead. Ryan and I lower Maddox to the ground and prop him against some rocks. His head hangs loosely to one side and a trail of drool runs from his mouth over his chin and drips on his chest. It's ugly and uncomfortable, and I don't want to spend any longer with him than I have to. Dylan gently pushes me aside and checks the teacher's pulse. I edge towards the mouth of the cave, happy to be away from the injured man. Everyone who can move is inside now. Even the 2 kids that got blown off their feet made it, but shaken but relatively undamaged. I walk among the stunned, hurt and frightened students. Some I've known for years, others from other classes, and I hardly know them at all. I do a quick head count. Of a group of 23, 17 were here. 17 are here. 3 students I don't know didn't make it to the clearing. No one could tell me definitely what happened to them. One of their friends said they'd taken cover under a log, but someone else said they'd been hit by a massive lightning bolt and there's no way they could have survived. The 2 girls left in the clearing are my classmates, Calico Walsh and Giselle Clark. Giselle was the one who was convulsing, but she lies still now. They were quiet, studious girls. I didn't really have much to do with them, but I liked them. It's Will Harris behind the rock. He was funny and popular. I can't really think about any of them as dead, even as I see them lying there. It just doesn't seem real. I tread softly back to Dylan. Mr. Maddox's head is straightened and his eyes are clearer, but he isn't talking. Dylan has wiped the drool off his chin. I nod towards the bodies in the clearing. Should we try and bring them in? As I speak, a series of sudden sharp flashes light up the sky and another curtain of lightning rains down on the valley. Dylan shakes her head. It's too risky. We can't help them anyway. She pauses, thinking, it's weird. Lightning shouldn't act like this. Even in a major storm, we shouldn't be getting this many strikes, especially over such a large area. And 90% of people who are hit by lightning survive. This isn't normal. I look at the bodies of the 3 teenagers in the clearing, at the smouldering ravaged bush and the bruised sky, scarred with a continuous stream of jagged burning light. I have to agree with Dylan. This isn't normal. Nothing about it is normal. Okay, that's chapter 3. And as you can see, high adventure, completely different tone to the other book. I'm torn as to which one I want to write next, so I'd love your comments. Obviously, your age might sway your decisions in some way, but it'd be great to hear your feedback. So when you're ready, just go into comments and let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers.